Okay, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor, and I'm going to be your anchor for this lab series. So this is the Ethical Hacker Lab series. So today we're going to be working on lab 2.3.3. So this is under module 2 of the curriculum. So we want to look at personal code of conduct. Now, this series of lab begins by first helping you set up your virtual machine, next evaluating the virtual machine, and of course, trying to let you understand how to do pre-engagement, how to plan your pen testing scope, how to set up all of those agreements. Then, of course, your own personal code of conduct. So this is more like a research-based kind of lab you want to take on. In this lab, you complete the following objectives. So you have first research approaches to ethical decision making. So what are different ways you can be sure that you're doing the right thing? Because yes, we say you have the license to hack. You must do that within the law. You must do that within set standards, principles, and code of conduct. Then, of course, you want to research some code of ethics, then develop your own personal code. The idea is that you want to make sure that whatever you're doing while trying to do your vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, you do that within the books. Now, when confronted with an ethical dilemma, what do you consider when making a decision? I've been in situations where somebody wants me to do things that are against the ethics of pen testing. Most pen testing certifications will always tell you you must first sign off on an NDA, a non-disclosure, or you sign off on ethics. Whether you're taking CompTIA pen test, you're taking Cisco Ethical Hacker, you're taking EC Council CH, there's always that before you start doing pen testing to make sure that whatever you're doing, you do that ethically. And that's why it's called ethical hacking. Hacking is when you try to break into systems to get information or get unauthorized access. And when we say ethical hacking, we mean that you're trying to break into systems with permission. The goal is so that you can help protect those IT infrastructure. There is, will I say, same approach, same procedures. The difference is the goal, that is the intent, and whether you have permission or not. So you have hacking, ethical hacking. Hacking is breaking into systems, right? Now, if it's ethical hacking, you want to make sure that you do that within guidelines. You have permission to do that, and your goal is to protect. Then when you say hacking, you're breaking into systems. The goal is to cause system malfunction, is to have unauthorized access and all of that. So these are the kind of things we want to make sure that we have set up before we actually start trying to hack. Don't forget, all of this is for educational purpose. You shouldn't use this where you don't have permissions. And that's why we set up Kali Linux, like in the virtual, in the sandbox environment, so that all the things we are learning, we learn that in a very controlled environment. So what do you do when you're faced with such kind of dilemma? Suppose you find a new USB flash drive in your computer lab, what would you do? Right? Working in cybersecurity is not always about stopping cyber attacks. As a cybersecurity specialist, your organization might trust you with some sort of sensitive customer data. You'll be confronted with challenging ethical dilemmas, which may not have an easy or clear answer. Right? Should you do it? Shouldn't you do it? So you're going to look at some kind of guidelines, some kind of ethics. The focus of this lab is for you to understand different perspectives, look at research codes. Then from that, you want to now harness and create some kind of set of codes, some kind of guidelines, some kind of ethical conduct that's going to guide your journey as a cybersecurity analyst. For this lab, typically, you just need your PC, your mobile phone, and you just need internet. Now, principle for utilitarian ethics approach. When we look at what is the final decision, what is the ultimate decision in terms of ethics, the idea is that you need to maximize the greatest good for the people. So anything you're trying to do and it doesn't it's not for the betterment of everybody, then you did something wrong. Now, right approach to ethical hacking decision making. Now, you want to be fair. You want to make sure that you're not violating fundamental rights of individuals. You see, I've been in situations whereby somebody wants to get access to someone else's device. So your decision to, if you are going to act, is going to be, are you going to violate GDPR, for instance, General Data Protection Regulation? Are you going to violate the cybercrime for your country, for your state, depending on where you're watching this video from? So if you will not violate someone else's fundamental right, then you're good to go. Now, take for instance, you have a company, you have different staff, and they are meant, the devices and the computers they have, they are meant, the company needs to have full access to all of that. If, let's say, a staff or a staff member runs away with those devices, or maybe have unauthorized access and whatever, in that situation, you're not violating any fundamental right, because the company have rights over those devices, right? So these are things that should guide your decision. Then, common good approach. So you want to make sure that you benefit all members of the communities. Individuals might pursue the values and goals shared by other members of the community. So you want to make sure that you're not violating any of those principles. Now, fairness, justice approach. So whatever you're going to be doing, whether you want to get access, something happens and you're meant to get access to this, you're meant to run so pen test, you must make sure that you're not favoring or you're not discriminating. You want to make sure that there is equal, or who should have access. Take, for instance, somebody's account have been hacked, right? So that person have access, that person have right over that particular account or that particular access. So imagine somebody contact you and say, okay, please, I want to have access to something, and that person does not have right over that particular item. You've gone unethical. Now, if you look at some code of ethics, there are quite a few of them. You have information stored on the computer should be treated as seriously as written or spoken words, right? So it should be binding, right? That's where data integrity comes in. Respect the privacy of others. Create and usage of malware is illegal and must not be practiced. You cannot just start running malwares on the part. My voice is a little bit cracky. I pray my voice clears out in the coming days. So the idea is that you cannot just start running malware because you want to do quite a few things on the system, on the production environment. You must do all of that in a controlled environment, because if you do that, and I've seen situations whereby a company have digital assets worth millions and millions and millions, be compromised by just introduction of a malware, introduction of a pen drive. You can be arrested, you can be jailed. Should not prevent others from accessing public information. So anything you do that goes against this code of ethics, in the wrong book. So you should now have your own guidelines, your own kind of personal code that should guide your ethical hacking practice. So there are some bare minimals. You should not steal from people's computer. You should not harm other people. You should not snoop around or try to look at people's files or wherever. All of those things are unethical. Okay, I think that's just about this lab. So this is to prepare us when we start getting into hacking proper. Thank you very much, and see you in the next lab.